What's up, YouTube? Dual Destiny is finally here, the new season of Pokemon Go, and obviously, this being a PvP Pokemon Go channel, we're gonna hop right in at the beginning of the season and test out the newly buffed Pokemon, and two of which I really wanted to feature right away. Um, Mainly just the Thundershock buff in general. I just wanted to see what that felt like, especially on an attack weighted Pokemon, like many of the electric types are in this meta. And then I also wanted to check out Sand Attack Gliscor because I think it's actually going to be really strong in this meta. Um, so I figured why not both, because Togedemaru and Gliscor actually make a pretty good core. Togedemaru, weak to ground, weak to fighting, and weak to fire. What does Gliscor resist? Ground, fighting, um, on top of other things, but grounded fighting, which Togedemaru is weak to, and then hits super effective on fire with Sand Attack and Earthquake. That being said, Talonflame can be a little bit of an issue because then Sand Attack and Earthquake are resisted, but um, that is why we're pairing it with a third, which is Azumarill, which also deals with ground with its Bubble and Ice Beam. It's fighting with its Fairy type and Bubble for the Fire types, and its Water type resisting that as well. So that is the team that we're looking at. Obviously, you can see Togedemaru shot up to rank 31 on PvPoke, which is incredible. Obviously, the Thundershock buff definitely helped it a little bit. It probably just means in some matchups now, after landing a wild charge, it can farm Pokemon down. Where I think we actually have an example of that in these videos, so that's pretty cool. We can look at that. And then resistances, unbelievable. So many resistances. Double resist, steel, poison, flying, and then single resist rock, psychic, normal, ice, grass, fairy, electric, dragon, and bug. So great typing on Togedemaru. Unfortunately, its main weaknesses are kind of everywhere right now, at least with the apes and then the mud slappers and Diggersby. So yeah, I mean, its weaknesses are definitely going to be tough against this meta, but its resistances are really good against everything else. In this video, I will use Shadow Gliscor, and I honestly loved it, to be completely honest. I thought it was the best Pokemon on this team, and you'll see that in these videos, but PvPoke actually recommends, I think it does have Shadow Gliscor at a higher rank, but when you sim them against each other with the same stat product, non-Shadow versus Shadow, the non-Shadow is actually way better. The Shadow loses Diggersby, Dunsparce, Shadow Machamp, Malamar, and Superior, whereas it just picks up Jump Bluff. So, and that's the non-Shadow Jump Bluff. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I definitely will want to try out the bulkier um, non-Shadow Gliscor, but I don't have a great IV one that I can power up, so we'll see. But let's hop right into the video and check out these battles. So obviously these are low-ranked battles. My opponents are going to be a mix of ranges. But right away we run into a Clodsire, and they're actually on Mud Shot, so we're going to switch right into the Gliscor. I would probably recommend coming in Azu, because Azu is actually less hard of an answer, and they actually send a double resisted Earthquake, and then they come in with a Rock Smash, I think, Azumarill. So yeah, my opponent, while they have the Pokemon, it would appear, they do not have the correct move sets on these Pokemon. That being said, I'm pretty sure Rock Smash is a really crap move when it comes to energy generation, so I'm just going to shield this up and then play the flip switch. Farming up a lot here. I'm imagining my opponent, if they're bad, they farmed up. They threw right when they got to the move, so that's why I farmed up there and threw right before they would get to another one. And we were able to flip switch just by and grab both shields, and then they come with Manabuzz. So Manabuzz definitely would have been a better option to come into Gliscor. Sand Attack's being resisted. I mean, Azu's fine too if you're running Bubble, that is. And then I swap right into Azu right away because Azu has a good matchup here and obviously against their Clodsire as well. I'm just going to full send the Ice Beam because even if they catch, this is a super effective move, and I'm going to need that super effective coverage on the Clodsire either way. And at this point, I will respect a Sludge Bomb, even though my guess is this is a single move Clodsire. And no, they are double moved and they have acid spray, but that does let me farm up a little bit. This will allow me to take them out. And my defense is lowered, but what is an aerial ace going to do? So we're very comfortably going to survive this. They're actually running Shadow Ball. So Acid Spray shielded into a neutral Shadow Ball. Honestly, that was probably the best play they could have made, whether my opponent knows that or not. And we get the play rough, and we farm down with our Thundershocks to take the first win, first game of the season. Very hype. Stunfisk, and I got another opponent trying out new Pokemon. I'm going to stay in and then catch the Mud Bomb onto my Gliscor. Gliscor is the only one that has a good matchup here, so switching right away into my hard answer, maybe not the best move. And then they come in with a Razor Leaf Abomasnow. So I'm just going to get off this Aerial Ace, and that puts it deep into the red. So if they don't throw, I think we can get the full farm down. I actually come out with the Earthquake loaded, so if they come back with the Stunfisk, which they do, I have the Earthquake coverage. Shadow Gliscor. Oh my god, that damage was crazy. Nearly one shot that Stunfisk. Stunfisk is real bulky. It has the same stat product as Galarian Stunfisk. Wow. Okay. Come in with the Zoom Roll, and they just resigned the match, maybe weak to a Zoom Roll, or they just knew they didn't have a chance at that point. But either way, we have a Clodsire in the lead in the next match, swap into the Zoom Roll, and this one is running Sludge Bomb, so they chip with the Sludge Bomb, and then they get into a Water Gun Lantern. Now, Water Gun has pretty poor pacing, so we are able to make it to 2 play roughs here, and they are going to have to use a super effective Thunderbolt to take us out. A Surf will not take out from this range, I don't believe. Zoom Roll is very bulky, obviously. You can see our RVs are very good. And they actually felt into Thunder. So then we can come in with the Lantern, farming up to the Wild Charge, baiting with the Fell Stinger, because if they want to get off this energy, I'm going to at least grab a shield first. And we do, so now we can just shield back, Thundershock, farm down, come out with a bunch of loaded energy, and they actually give up switch into Clodsire. This is great because we have Sand Attack Gliscor in the back. And everything is resisted here. We know they're on Sludge Bomb Earthquake most likely. They haven't revealed Earthquake, but there's no reason to throw it. Sludge Bomb is single resistant as opposed to Earthquake, which is double. We can actually survive 2 there. And then we farm up to 100 energy, get off this Aerial Ace. There should be enough to take out the Clodsire. Leaves it at 1 HP, takes it out with the Sand Attack. What is in the back? It is a Talonflame. So we're going to try and throw some Sand Attacks, get off an Aerial Ace. 2 in the move after the switch to get off this Wild Charge, and then we should be able to, if we can survive 1 more, make it to another, and this will take out the Wild Charge. Just that Lantern in the back, the Water Gun is down, but we have the Aerial Ace basically loaded to take out the Lantern. What a sweep by Shadow Gliscor in the end there. This thing was honestly super impressive. I had so much fun with it. It was really versatile. Okay, another terrible lead. We cannot catch a break on the lead. This time we're going to come in with a Shadow Gliscor, and then come in with a Psycho Cut Medicham. So we're going to get off a super effective Aerial Ace, but they know they can let that go. It only does about 50%, and they don't throw right away, so I'm just going to get off another Aerial Ace, force that shield, or get the knockout. They decide to shield. At this point, they're already going to outpace me because they're already over 2 Ice Punches, so I will just let this go. And then I'm just going to come in with a Zoom Roll and soak up the rest of this damage because they're probably on Ice Punch, Dynamic Punch. And so I can just go for the full Bubble Down, and that'll allow me to come out with a bunch of energy to hit the Diggersby with, or we can find out what's in the back. Hopefully it is not a Toxapex because we do not have alignment in this matchup. And we would have no way to grab shields. So they get off their move, everything resisted, and it's an Emolga in the back. So my opponent also trying out a Thundershock user and Emolga. Emolga I definitely want to try out again because I really liked Emolga last season. At this point, I'm just going to get off the super effective Ice Beam and then go for the full Bubble Down, because I believe if I do that, if I double shield and farm all the way down, I can come out with almost 2 Ice Beams loaded. Just over 1 it looks like, but I will get there. And they make a smart play and they swap right into their Diggsby, not wanting me to get any extra farm. Get off that super effective Ice Beam. Oh, actually, the Emolga died. I try and go for the catch. My opponent waited the turn there. So we've got an opponent waiting the turn early on in the season. Kind of a crazy play, but they throw their energy anyways. That lets me get to an Ice Beam here, but unfortunately, Diggersby is too tanky, and 2 Ice Beams plus the bubble is just not quite enough to take out. So almost overcoming that bad lead there, but Diggersby just too strong, and my opponent takes the win. Another Clodsire in the lead, so Togedemaru cannot catch a break. We come in with Azu, and they respond with a Mandibuzz. We're going to go for the Ice Beam right away because that means we can keep the 1-turn advantage there. And at this point, they will be in play rough range. It looks like 2 Ice Beams wouldn't take out, so I'm fine with letting this go. I'm going to over farm just slightly and then go for the play rough in order to take them out. And this should KO from this range, and it does. And now we see why they came in with that. They had Double Dark in the back, Poison Double Dark. This is not a new team. They're going to go for the Hydro Cannon. I'm going to farm up again, just trying to have my opponent be on edge about where my energy is at. They shield, and then they throw it right away, so that's perfect for me. We will take the shield advantage. Doesn't quite take out. Azumarill's too tanky. We can come in with Togedemaru, and then they come in with the Clodsire, and now we've got Sand Attack, Gliscor to punish. So we will let this go. And they full send an Earthquake for some reason. Trainer, that is double resisted. We're going to get off this Earthquake right before they make it to their next move. Over farming. And they actually shield that, which is odd. So I'm more than comfortable letting this go. I can survive even another Earthquake, it looks like, but I am going to farm up to back-to-back moves here. I'm going to try and get to an Earthquake plus a Aerial Ace here, but then they come in with Greninja, so at this point I'm just going to get off the Aerial Ace, farm down with a Thunder Shock. I'm going to farm up to CMP so that they throw right away. That forces them to throw their energy, and this will definitely take out no matter what it is, except if it was a double resisted Sludge Bomb maybe. Hoping my opponents full send the Earthquake. They do. I'm going to go for a little bit of a BM here. I farm them all the way down to 1 HP with Sand Attacks, and then I go for the super effective Earthquake, super overkill, and then completely undercharge it, and we are able to take that win. Into the next match, a little bit of BM early on in the season. A great lead. We've got Togedemaru into Azumarill. They come in with Ampharos. I don't know why I didn't swap out right away. Maybe I wasn't sure what I planned on doing. They go for a resisted Trailblaze. We take that on the Togedemaru, and then we come in with Gliscor. Now this Trailblaze is neutral, but it still shouldn't KO, and they shouldn't be able to farm us down too easily with the resisted Volt Switches. But after those Sand Attacks have added up, a resisted Aerial Ace will take out from this range, and my opponent lets that go. And then they come in with a Ferrothorn, and we're going to get off this Earthquake. This will do pretty substantial damage if they let this go, so my opponent does shield, and actually am able to still get to an Aerial Ace, so could have potentially baited and then gone for the Earthquake. But still, we get them to below 50% HP without giving up a shield. I come in with Togedemaru because I figured Azumarill can take this. They bait with an Acid Spray. I'm just going to go for the Fell Stinger here, and then I'm going to shield because this Power Whip would probably KO after my defense is debuffed like that. And then they come in back in with Azumarill. We're over farming like crazy here. Going to go for the Wild Charge. They shield, they're going to go for 1 and the next Wild Charge, and this, look how much damage that does after a Fell Stinger. That is crazy. And then they're going to be able to get the Bullet Seed farm down because my defense is debuffed, so we're able to get the Fell Stinger off and then come in with Azumarill and pull down a Ferrothorn. Azumarill is a Ferrothorn counter confirmed. Bibarel, another user using the new Pokemon. A rollout is resisted, so my opponent switches out. They switch into Malamar. Fellstinger is double super effective here, so I'm fine with staying in this matchup. And my opponent apparently They figured that out after they switched, and they give up the first shield. I would still let it go. Felsinger is a bad move. There's no reason to be going shielding the first anyways. This will make my Thundershocks start adding up more, and you can see that these Thundershocks are actually doing decent damage. And they do go for the superpower, and I was tempted to try and go for the full farm down, but I don't think I would quite get it. So we're just going to go for another Felstinger, take them out, and then what are they going to come in with? It's a Typhlosion, so we're going to switch into Gliscor. We're going to get off this Aerial Ace before they can throw the Blast Burn. And they actually bank the energy and then come in with the barrel. Throwing on poor timing there, unfortunately, roll out. Terrible animation for its move count. And if they do not throw, I'm going to get to another. So even though we throw on alignment, we're still able to get 2 Aerial Aces off, take them out. They incinerate us down, but that chip damage on the sand attack is valuable. At this point, we can fully bubble down because we can easily survive 2 Thunder Punches. If they make it to a third, then we will be able to Thunder Shock them down before the incinerate registers. So I'm more than comfortable letting this go, even if they're at back-to-back. And my opponent goes for the extra incinerate because they know that, and we take the win. Another Diggersby on the lead. Yeah, TOGEDEMARU on the lead, not the best. If you want to run a meta version of this in the future, I think you go for non-shadow Sandslash, non-shadow Gliscor, and Azumarill. I think that is going to be a super strong team in the future. We'll see though, I guess. Anyways, in this matchup, we swap out into Gliscor, and they respond with Mandibuzz. So my opponent, obviously, they have Diggersby, Mandibuzz. So what's the third going to be? It's very unoriginal. It's a super popular team from last season. It's most likely going to be Toxapex. I know that, and I know I need to flip switch, but at this point I can't because they would snarl me down before I could make a move. So unfortunately, I just have to come in with TOGEDEMARU. This can only be an Aerial Ace, so I can just get the full farm down. And they come back in with the Diggersby, so I respond with the Azumarill, and there's Toxapex in the back, so that is the top left. And we'll move on to the next video. My opponent running the hardest meta possible on the first day of the season. Very nice. I know Diggersby did get buffed, but that's not really what we're looking at in this video. Mandibuzz in the lead. This is actually a good lead, and I'm surprised my opponent isn't swapping out, so maybe they're double weak in the back. They let it go, maybe trying to call a Felstinger bait, but I full sent the Wild Charge there. They just go for an Aerial Ace. They had enough for a move. And then they come in with a Charizard, and I believe that looked like it was on Air Slash. So I'm able to farm up and get 2 more Wild Charges off, and then I'm going to try and force their energy. If this is what they have as their best response to an electric, I can't even imagine what's in the back, but that Dragon Claw actually does more than I expected. I guess my defense was like 4 times lowered or whatever it was at this point. The lowest it can be. But anyways, I'm going to come in with the Azumarill. Unfortunately, it looks like I got 1 turn lag there, so I should get a bubble there, but I don't. That won't affect the matchup. Dragon Claw, Blast Burn, everything is resisted. I don't know why they're even running Air Slash. And then they have a Morpeko in the back, so Morpeko is fine. It's a very neutral matchup. Morpeko probably actually has the edge because it can at least switch its Aura Wheels to Dark, which is neutral in TOGEDEMARU, so I know Bug is super effective, but it wouldn't really do anything to them. Another terrible lead. We've got Marowak, and then we come in with Gliscor, and they respond with Talonflame. Unfortunately, this is probably going to be an unflippable matchup. And fortunately, though, they do overfarm, and they let me get to an Aerial Ace, and this will threaten a knockout. And so my opponent knows that, so they just farm up to back-to-back flies here. So I do have to let this go. They actually go for the Flame Charge. And now that I know that their moves aren't all resisted, I'm going to come in on a Azumarill. I will respect a potential Brave Bird because it is boosted. It is just a fly. We're going to get the full bubble down. We know we can survive this. It is boosted, but a fly will probably only do about 40%. Yeah. And we get the full bubble down. What is that Pokemon in the back? And it is a Bastiodon. So we're going to get these super effective bubbles off and then come in with TOGEDEMARU. there's not really much we can do here. We'll get the neutral Fell Stinger off before they get the full farm down. And even though we can get to a move here, they're just going to shield this, and at that point the game is over. I don't really have any charge moves for this Bastiodon, so another unfortunate lead that we were unable to get out of. But this is a pretty good lead because Hypno is probably on Confusion double punches because the punches got buffed, and the best combo is Ice Punch plus Thunder Punch. Because that hits literally everything in the meta except for 2 Pokemon, basically, and that is Magnezone and Togedemaru, the Steel Electrics. So I confidently no-shield this. I'm going to play this out, go for the super effective Fell Stingers here, and they switch out. I'm too slow to respond, and unfortunately, my Togedemaru goes down. But that lets me come in with my Azu. I haven't given up a shield yet. Now they do still have 3 Pokemon, so I have to be a little bit wary. And they get to the Stone Edge. This can only be a cross chop, so I'm more than comfortable letting this go. I'm going to throw one in the move, not really wanting to take another move here. Get off this Ice Beam. This will KO the Machamp. They come in with Hypno again. I'm just going to shield this and then fully farm down because they're only making it to 1 move. And then my opponent realizes that they save their Hypno, but then we get to a super effective play rough on the Sableye. If they shield, we're going to Quake them because we have the shield advantage. So foul play, we'll shield this up, and then we will outpace to their next move, getting to the Earthquake. No point in really overfarming there. Their Hypno is dry and very low. Earthquake takes out the Sableye with ease, and then we farm down the Hypno with Sand Attack. Into the next match, another Malamar. I do like to go straight Fell Stinger in this match because it is double super effective, but let's see if my opponent this time lets it go because I am curious to see how much damage this does. It does about 40%. That's not great, to be honest, for a double super effective move, and that's why Fell Stinger is pretty bad. You don't really ever want to use it. I do farm up to a potential Wild Charge, and I'm just going to go for the Fell Stinger here. This time they shield. And my Thunder Sharks are doing a good amount of damage here, but I still don't believe, even though they double superpowered, that I would be able to get the farm down. That being said, they switch into Feraligatr. I build up to the Wild Charge, I'm baiting again, and then I go 1 and the catch onto the Azumarill. So we save that energy, take the resisted Hydro, while not taking any of the neutral Shadow Claws on the Azumarill until the catch. And now they can get off another Hydro Cannon. We can farm up here just a little bit, get off this play rough to take out the Feraligatr, and that does KO. And then they come in back in with the Malamar, which is kind of crazy because I think they were going for an Ice Beam catch onto their Drapion, but they do not get it. I hold on to my energy, I get off a neutral play rough, and then I have Gliscor to fully farm down. This Aqua Tail will do a lot of damage, but it shouldn't KO. Yeah, it does about 60%. We get the full farm down. I believe we actually lose CMP to Malamar. Yeah, so we lose CMP, but that is okay because this means they are energy dry. This is a superpower too, so it lowers their defense, and we are able to come back in with a Togedemaru, get the super effective Fell Stinger off, and take that game. So yeah, that was the team, and that is the video. Obviously, we're just taking a look at 2 buffed Pokemon. A really great core, obviously, between Steels and Azumarill, which is why we had Azumarill on the back. But similarly, post Gligar and current Gliscor have that same coverage. I'd argue Gliscor might even be better because the super effective Sand Attacks on the fire types. That being said, it is single resistant on Talonflame, whereas Gligar had Wing Attack, which was neutral on Talonflame. So, but yeah, the pacing is really good. The Sand Attacks hit really hard on the Shadow. You can see there that I was absolutely shredding through opponent's HP with the Sand Attacks, and it was honestly a ton of fun to use. Yeah, so definitely give it a try. If you want to use a more meta version of this to climb early days, I guess you can give it a shot. Doesn't really matter, but just use, I'd say, either the non-shadow or the shadow sand slash. I'd probably argue the non-shadow is better now, because Ice Punch is going to do even more damage, even though it doesn't have the shadow boost, and that added bulk might be nice. And then Gliscor, apparently the non-shadow is also better, but as you saw in these videos, the sand attack plus the earthquake, they do a hell of a lot of damage, so definitely worth trying out either way. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, peace.